Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and it's time for another Sunday Speed Duel Spotlight. And so I've chosen one that we used late this last week. I think it was literally just yesterday. We used Chow Sai, the Ghost Stopper. Now, this guy's actually really cool for a multitude of reasons. The most being his effect. But, let's go over the card, right? So, honest analysis, 4-star Dark Spellcaster, 19 by 800. Pretty great offensive power. No tributes required. Dark does give us a bit of an advantage since we do have Allure of Darkness at 2 right now in Speed Duel. The 900 defense doesn't really come up so often. And again, since we were running a spellcaster-based build to try to power out the Dark Magician Girl as a locals tournament level strength deck, Chow Sai was a perfect backup to that. Now, what sets him apart from the rest of the crowd is his effect. Neither player can activate the effects of spell or trap cards in the graveyard. This is crazy. Additionally, if this is sent from the field to the graveyard, it doesn't matter. Sent is tributes. It is if it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, the card effect destroys it. Doesn't matter. If it goes from the field to the grave, you can target a spell or trap in the opponent's graveyard and just outright banish it. So anything that recurs can just immediately be taken out. And one of the first things I think about is one of my favorite cards, Lost Wind. So, number one, Lost Wind can normally recycle itself from the graveyard, okay? If your opponent special summons from the extra deck while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you may set this back on the field, but banish it when it leaves the field. Chow Sai number 1 says, no, you can't actually move that card back to the field. And 2, he can banish it so that when he does leave the field, he's not leaving this as an option for our opponents. Now, the only downside is, since his effect is just full on, it is going to affect both sides of the field. It's going to affect me too, as a player. But it's okay, because again, you have a side deck for a reason. Siding the cards out that Chow Sai stops, or just using them for the one-of effect is still totally valid. But that's one interaction. What's another really good interaction that I'm always running is Waking the Dragon. So it doesn't fully shut this card off, but it kind of does. See, a lot of players, and I don't know, maybe this is just where I'm at, a lot of players aren't as focused on using Cosmic Cyclones right now as much as they are using things like Night Beam. So if you use Night Beam against me while I have my Chow Sai and everything set up, it's a negative interaction. But this is a reason why we didn't worry about using Cosmic Cyclones, and instead we went for 2 Breakers and 3 Night Beams in that deck with the DMG. It was because of the way the Waking the Dragon is going to resolve. It's going to try to resolve in the graveyard. That's where its effect is going to activate, because we destroyed it. So on our opponent's end, at least, Chow Sai actually stops the activation of this, and it is a harmless off to the graveyard for the card with no additional effect. However, if Chow Sai is on board and one of these gets hit by a Cosmic Cyclone, then we may see the Waking the Dragon resolve, because then it's going to be activating and resolving in the banish pile and not the graveyard, which is what Chow Sai stops. He stops out a lot of other cool effects too. The craziest one is one that I don't really see a whole lot of, and that's Flint. I just like this card. The equipped monster loses 300 attack, cannot change its battle position to declare an attack. If it's destroyed because the equipped monster is destroyed, target a monster on the field, equip this to that monster. If Chow Sai happens to be on the field, like a deck that revolves around Flint for some reason, just totally inoperative. The Flint would just fall off harmlessly, and it will not go and seek anybody new. I felt like throwing this in, because why not? The rest are pretty serious. One of the better ones is Machine Angel Ritual. Does not get its secondary effect. This gets another effect in the graveyard where it can banish itself. It says, if a light monster or monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you may banish this card instead. You do not have to let that destruction go out unless Chow Sai is on the field. Chow Sai is going to say no. He's going to say, nah, that card can't banish. You're not allowed to activate the effect. And then, of course, much in the same way he can go ahead and repel the Lost Wind, as he leaves the field, he can take the Machine Angel ritual out of the game and banish it himself. Another crazy cool effect, and this is more relevant where I'm at because we got a bunch of pranksters on the table. There's always somebody running an Ojama build. Always. I don't know why. We just love them. They are our local mascots. If this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, and this is where the effect will activate and resolve, which means Chow Sai stops it, add one each of green, or yellow, and black from deck to hand. Again, when Chow Sai is around, this just kind of goes to the graveyard and doesn't do anything. And the last one, this is probably one of my favorite things. This actually shuts off Zoma. Okay? Now, keep with me. Zoma is a trap. It summons itself as a monster. It summons in defense mode. So it comes out like this. And it's 18 by like 500. Was it 500? It is 500. And whatever monster kills him, be it... We get another monster card. Where's that Gearfried card at? So it could be this Gearfried at 26, or it could be this Gearfried at 18. And whichever one attacks him and destroys him, when he goes to the graveyard, because he was destroyed by battle by this effect, or after being summoned by his own effect, the opponent takes damage equal to the attack value of the monster that destroyed Zoma. Now, in this case, it would be 18 or 26 respectively, unless Chow Sai is on the board, at which point they just disarmed Zoma. Zoma's effect for the damage activates and resolves in the graveyard. It is the effect of a trap card, and Chow Sai just says no. So the Gearfrieds may break what they choose, and as long as Chow Sai is around, one of literally the best in-game threats is just a non-threat. And again, when you go to competitions, when you go to like locals and stuff, you might see this because these decks are really technical. You probably will see this because the card is just really good. You probably will see these two, the Waking and the Lost Wind, because again, they're just really good. I hope you guys aren't seeing Flint at all. And yeah, you might see an Ojama player. They happen. They are a natural part of the ecosystem, as it were. But this is why Chow Sai needs to be this week's spotlight. He handles a lot of different situations. Now, obviously, if we went into the main game, the master game, and you can take this card to it, the only rule here is it has to say Speed Duel and or have the Speed Duel watermark if you want to use the card in Speed Duel. And the reason I say the and or part is like legitimately the first structure decks did not actually say Speed Duel right here. They only had the mark. But in order for the card to be used in Speed Duel, it has to be that. But we can use any Speed Duel card in the advanced formats. At which point, Chow Sai has multiple cards he goes off against, but none as often as he will in the Speed Duel format. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you did. I got another non-Yu-Gi-Oh deck coming up tomorrow. We got Number Man from the Mega Man TCG. Yeah, do the things, don't do the things. Do the one thing, guys. Go enjoy the rest of your weekend, all right? I enjoyed having you guys here, and we'll see you next time. Later.